In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about the importance of integrating the middle levels of energy on your spiritual journey. So oftentimes when we start a spiritual journey of, yoga or meditation, we're coming from a low place and we are embarking on a lot of high energy practices such as meditation or drum circles or yoga, and also chanting as well. So there's different things that we do on a daily basis, and our attempt is to go from here, down here, to up here. So essentially we go from coming from low energies such as fear and negativity and pessimism, and then we attempt to start to incorporate more gratitude and love and concentration, which are really great qualities to have. But what happens is we do skip over the middle levels of energy such as courage and work and things that are really necessary, and setting boundaries and things that are really necessary just as a human in general. And what we'll find is that when we skip over these middle levels of energy, we experience these crashes. So typically I know for me, for example, when I went on a 10-hour meditation retreat, I felt really amazing afterwards, and I was kind of blissed out. But I found that the feeling didn't last, and that's because I had basically gone from 0 to 100 and in the scale of energy, and I basically skipped over the middle levels and I just went back to my daily life before. And another I guess con of just skipping the middle levels of energy is that you do go back down, and the lasting changes that you the changes that you felt during the high level energy of practices don't really stick to you. So you find that the bliss that you felt during your meditation sittings or your yoga practice doesn't last for too long. So it's important to make progress incrementally. And a couple of things, and you'd also find that people who skip over these stages as well, they almost seem imbalanced. So it's kind of like an oversensitive new age person, right? If you think of that, they're always whiny and they're over emotional and they're like, oh, my heart chakra isn't open enough. And that's because they haven't integrated the middle levels of energy. So that's things like strength and courage and focus and setting boundaries and setting goals. So oftentimes they're kind of missing something, and you can kind of tell that as well, right? And they also do have a tendency to drop back down to lower energies such as negativity and overwhelm, just because they find that they really get discouraged and frustrated that they can't stay in the high levels of energy. So it's so important to keep in mind that on your spiritual journey you do want to integrate the middle levels of energy, but I also do recommend keeping a daily practice of meditation and gratitude exercises, but you want to keep it manageable and nothing where you feel that it's a huge leap, because if you do if you do take any kind of practice where you're going from here to here, then you'll eventually experience a crash. So what are some practices you can do to integrate the middle levels of energy? So I recommend one big thing is courage. So take on a goal, really set a goal and go at it. And another thing is also goal setting as well, setting boundaries. That's something that people in the spiritual community definitely overlook. So just having boundaries, if someone is late for a meeting, definitely check them on it and say, hey, you're late, and set that the boundaries for you, right? Another thing would also be being active as well. So if you have a routine where you're generally kind of bored with your life and you do a lot of meditation, you'll find that you kind of just slip back down to being inactive, like a couch potato almost. So you do want to be active, set goals, do things, find out things you want to do in life as well, and go at it, go after it. You'll also find that in different spiritual traditions, Zen monks, for example, a lot of them actually do other physical, hard, mid-level energy practices as well. So the Zen monks would also take up, karate, for example, or boxing, because that builds that middle levels of energy that is required to hold the higher levels of energy in place. And when you're also looking at different teachers of spiritual practices as well, you hear about their spiritual journeys and enlightenment experiences, right? But you do have to realize that the experience that they had was based on a mid-level of energy of hard work and practice. So a lot of, like Buddha, for example, before his enlightenment, he did have to sit and meditate and work with yogis as well in order to, finally get to that place. So it's important to basically improve one step at a time, and that's how you'll feel the best results. And you don't want to be imbalanced as well, so definitely keep in mind that you don't want to neglect the middle levels of energy, and that's helpful for your journey step by step.